really prep much. So because you Googled, I feel like you're good to go.
Okay. So this is what I thought about on my way over. I said, hi everybody, welcome to the after show, when I and another young adult get together and we talk about the show or the video that we just put out most recently, and we give like a young adult perspective. We go a little bit more in depth and we really like get into it.
I like that.
Today I'm here with Heather.
Hey.
And we're going to be continuing to talk about Lent. So Lent is the 40 days before Easter, and it goes between Ash Wednesday and the night before Easter, so Easter Saturday. And in those 40 days, we have a lot of confusion, to be honest, about what we're supposed to even hecking be doing in those 40 days. So Heather and I thought that we post her M&O people talk about what they do in Lent. We thought that we would get together and talk about what we know, what we don't know, what is very confusing, and what the internet has to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, growing up, I feel like I was just told you give something up for Lent, but I was never told like why or like what kind of things to do or like really any context. And so like it almost got twisted with like diet culture in my head, because you would give up a food, usually something sweet like candy or ice cream or something unhealthy like chips. And like that's super like not a great view to have. Like, let me just diet for 40 days because Jesus.
Yes, I agree with you.
That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, here's what Wikipedia says. Wikipedia says that Lent is the solemn religious observance in the Christian liturgical calendar that begins on Ash Wednesday and ends approximately 6 weeks or 40 days later, the night before Easter Sunday. The purpose of Lent is the preparation of the believer, us, for Easter through prayer, doing penance, mortifying the flesh, repentance of sins, almsgiving, simple living, and self-denial. Interesting. It goes on to say that, of course, the last week of Lent is Holy Week, starting with Palm Sunday. Following the New Testament story, Jesus' crucifixion is commemorated on Good Friday. And at the beginning of the next week, the joyful celebration of Easter Sunday recalls the resurrection of Jesus Christ. In Lent, many Christians commit to fasting, as well as giving up certain luxuries in order to replicate the account of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ's journey into the desert for 40 days. This is known as one's Lenten sacrifice. Many Christians also add a Lenten spiritual discipline, such as reading a daily devotional or praying through a Lenten calendar to draw themselves near to God. The Stations of the Cross, a devotional commemoration of Christ's carrying the cross and of his execution, are often observed. Many Roman Catholic, Lutheran, Anglican, and Methodist churches remove flowers from their altars, while crucifixes, religious statues, and other elaborate religious symbols are often veiled in violet fabrics in solemn observance of the event. Throughout Christendom, some adherents mark the season with the traditional abstention from the consumption of meat, most notably among Lutherans, Roman Catholics, and Anglicans. Lent is traditionally described as lasting for 40 days in commemoration of the 40 days Jesus spent fasting in the desert. According to the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke, before beginning his public ministry, during which he endured temptation of Satan. Depending on the Christian denomination and local custom, Lent ends either on the evening of Maundy Thursday or at sundown on Holy Saturday, when the Easter Vigil is celebrated. Regardless, Lenten practices are properly maintained until the evening of Holy Saturday.
Interesting. I didn't know a lot of that.
I think for me, it's one of those things where like, you're like, did I know? No. But did I know? Kind of. Like, does it make sense to me? Does like A equal B make a lot of sense? I just forgot? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. I found the not eating meat thing very interesting, because I'd not heard of that being anything other than a Catholic tradition. Because I know that they would eat fish during Lent. Because I have some childhood friends who are Catholic, and fish was always the Lent meal. They had fish like many times during a week. And I always thought that was so weird because like my family didn't do that. I don't know anybody that did. So it's very interesting to me.
I agree with you that growing up, it was a lot about like fasting and like things that you take out of your life. And also that nobody ever really, I'm so sorry to my confirmation teachers. I don't remember anybody ever explaining to me why, but I think the like vibe that I got about it was that you are choosing to give something up as a way to both mourn and go on the like journey with Jesus through the desert towards the cross, right? Jesus is going through a lot, so you like give something up in order to feel that same kind of journey. And then also that in giving something up that means a lot to you, then you are mindful about how much you have in like the other 320 days of the year, and then that you're supposed to like fill that gap with prayer and godliness and Jesus. But I think in recent years, I've heard a lot of shifting from giving something up to adding something in. What about you?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing this year, actually, and I did last year as well. Like I said in the video, I'm adding in listening to the Bible during my commute to and from work, which is very interesting. I've never like sat down and just like read the Bible as like solid chunks. It's always just been like, oh, this is the reading on Sunday. And so I assumed that I had read most of it. But like when you're reading it in such short bits and then waiting a week before you read any more, you don't get like the whole picture, and you don't realize that like some of the people are the same people. Like David and Goliath. David from that story is the same person who becomes the king of Israel, like the second king. Did not know that because I'd not like heard the stories like back to back, and I did not make the connection. I was like, oh, there's just two people named David, you know?
Sure.
So yeah, interesting things from my Lenten practice this year.
What has your Lenten practice like developed? How have you developed through your Lenten practice? I guess we're 2 weeks in.
Yeah, about 2 weeks in. When I first started, I was very excited to press play, and now like I am getting a little like, I don't want to do it today, but I'm keeping on going. I'm pushing through, right? That's kind of the point. It's to show your dedication as well, right? And so I'm pushing, and so I am making a little bit of allowances. If I had a really bad day, before I'll, start listening to the Bible, I'll listen to like 10 minutes of music, right? But I am still pushing through no matter how much I might not want to do it. And every single time I'm like 5 minutes into it, I'm like, yeah, this is great. What a great story.
That's incredible. Would you recommend that people read the Bible through Lent? Or
yeah,
generally?
I mean, I'm definitely having a good time with it. I find like sitting down and reading the Bible is really difficult just because my life is so busy, but because I have it as an audiobook, it's a lot more accessible, and so I would really recommend that.
You heard it here first.
Plug if we were famous enough to have an Audible sponsorship. Yeah, like that's currently where I am listening to it, because at one point I did that free trial and then forgot to cancel it until I had like 10 credits, like 10 months worth of books. I'm like, great. So I'm like, cool, what books can I be interested in owning an audiobook form of? So I got the Bible.
If anybody is interested, the Holy Bible app also has a feature where it will like read it out loud to you, and the app is free.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm sorry to tell you after you've spent your credit on it.
That's okay. I still have some credits left because I'm like, I don't know what to listen to. Ooh. We're not the only ones who fast, right? It's not just Christians throughout the year. Muslims also fast with Ramadan. And so and they take it very seriously. And so I thought that was very interesting to spend some time thinking about how I'm struggling with just listening to the Bible for about 45 minutes in the morning and 45 minutes in the evening. And yet my Muslim friends will go like, I forget how long Ramadan is, but however long it is, only eating after sunset. And their dedication, man, like props. I could not.
I think it's very interesting the way that it feels like old school religion and more modern religion is negotiating like how to align oneself with God and how to be more godly. I think it's interesting this like fasting or adding, right? Like taking away things or adding in things, and where do you see and one sentence at a time. This idea of like, it feels to me like old school Lutheran says you have to take things away, and new school Lutheran says that you can take away, but you can also add in. But I think also I forget that when you're taking something away, you're supposed to also be adding in the prayer and
space.
Yeah. It was like making room for God in your heart and making room for prayer in your life and making room for like holiness and thoughtfulness.
Yeah. I think that's something that's often forgotten. Like the adding in when you give something up.
Yeah.
Like.
So, in talking about Lent, the season of Lent starts the day after Ash Wednesday. And so I just want to like situate all of us deeply in that pocket of Lenten season, because we had a lot of we did a young adult hang on Shrove Tuesday, Pancake Tuesday, where we had a lot of conversation about like, why the heck do we eat pancakes? What's that about? And so I thought I would share with you all that one of the reasons, one of the reasons for the seasons is that in anticipation of the Lenten season of fasting and living a simple life and paring down the excitement of your life to like be more godly and to have more God in your life, on Shrove Tuesday, before all of that started, that was traditionally your moment to use up the butter in your house and use up the sugar in your house and use up the eggs and the milk in your house, and to use up all of those extras and to have like fatty, delicious, right? To fry the bacon, to fry the sausages, and to have a meal with your loved ones that was fatty and sugary and delicious and indulgent, both to indulge before you prepare in solemnity and also to use up those things so you are less tempted. Maybe that has to do with like Jesus being in the desert for 40 days tempted by the devil. I think regardless, temptation is a hot point in Christianity. And so we start our Easter journey on the Tuesday, having pancakes and maple syrup and like celebration. And often I know like youth groups will do fundraisers. And then on Ash Wednesday, we are pre-reminded. We are looking at the end of the Lenten journey at Good Friday, and we are pre-reminded that this is a journey of solemnness, that this is a journey of death and crucifixion and sacrifice. We are reminded that we have come from dust, and to dust we shall return. We take Ash Wednesday to be a moment of reflection and grieving and confession and solemn preparation before our 40-day stretch of continuing solemn preparation before we walk that journey of Holy Week with Jesus, from the Last Supper through the prayers on the mountain, through the trial and the betrayal of Peter, and up to the cross on Friday. And then we go to Easter, and then we celebrate again. And we bring out all of the butters and all of the sugars and all of the fats and all of the meats again. But I wanted to say, for those who have trouble making the links or have forgotten, or for whom it's been a year of COVID and none of our brains are working anymore, that this journey towards Easter doesn't start on Maundy, Thursday. It doesn't even start on Palm Sunday, right before Maundy, Thursday, where we like wave the palm branches and we celebrate that Jesus has returned to the city. Also, I think important to note is that like it's a year-long journey that we take, because on Palm Sunday, we wave the palm branches, and those same palm branches are kept for the whole year and then are used as the oil and the ashes. They are burned and used as the ashes that get mixed with the oil that cross us on Ash Wednesday before we start the journey back through Palm Sunday to the cross. Fascinating.
Right.
Do you like my explanation?
I love it. You sounded so put together.
Thanks. You are all welcome. You are invited. You are welcomed to join us for any other young adult hangs. We wish you luck. We wish you patience. We wish you joy and also solemnity through this Lenten season. We hope that whether you are giving things up or you are adding things in or you are just trying to survive a little bit longer through COVID, we wish you grace, and we wish you peace, and we wish you mercy, and we wish you holy relationship with yourself and with God and with Jesus and with the Holy Spirit through this season. We will see you closer to the cross. Peace be with you.
Bye. Peace with you.
And also with you.